Everyone. So this whole Ja Morant situation is it's comical at this point. It's so ridiculous, so over the top. Adam Silver is just getting hounded because everyone wants to know the answer. And I get that everyone is anxiously waiting to find out how long is Ja Morant going to be suspended. Is it going to be a light suspension, where he misses 15 games or something like that? Is it going to be a huge suspension where he misses the whole year? What is going to end up happening? And I get that. I get that fans and the media and everybody is on pins and needles to find out what happens with Ja. But we're in the NBA Finals. Let these guys have their moment. Let it be done. Let them enjoy it. Let them embrace it. And then, a couple days later, announce the Ja Morant thing. He's getting suspended. He's in a world of trouble regardless, right? And at this point, you just see and hear all the reports of Ja Morant and his attorneys and stuff like that just grasping at straws. Now we're getting reports that, that Ja Morant only used it was a toy gun. It's not a real gun. It was a toy gun. So, it's not the same thing. And blah, blah. You're missing the point. There's a lot of points that go into this, which we're going to rant about here in a second. But here's what was said. So it's something that I'm thinking a lot about because, again, I'm not going to get into the specifics of the investigation. But in fact, if you are live streaming something to the world looks exactly like a gun in a frankly reckless manner, should it matter whether or not it's a real gun? He said, this is Adam Silver addressing the toy gun. It's a toy, right? Like that whole mess. That was his address, right? Here's the thing. Adam Silver's spot on. It doesn't matter if it's a toy gun. It doesn't matter if it's a real gun. You're still brandishing a gun in a IG stream after you just got in trouble for doing it with the real thing. So now you what? Now you want the benefit of the doubt when you've already proven. It's like when you have a friend or a family member or somebody that's just a thief and they're just constantly stealing stuff. And then something in your house goes missing and they try to tell you they didn't steal it. How could you ever accuse me? Why would you think I'd ever steal? It's like, because I've watched you steal from friends. I've watched you steal from other family members. I've watched you do all this stuff. And you want me to believe that, oh no, you didn't do it this one time, right? And it's like, oh, well, I did take it, but I put it back, right? Like, you still took it. You still did the deed. It doesn't matter. And that's the point with Ja Morant here. He still did what he is getting in trouble for. It doesn't matter if it's a toy gun. The gun didn't say Nerf or nothing on it. It wasn't it wasn't like he was shooting Nerf darts out of it. No, it looked like a real gun. He was trying to make it look like a real gun. But it's the stupidity. Again, like Adam Silver said, whether it's a real gun or not, it doesn't matter. It's what you were trying to represent and what you were trying to do. It was your actions. And the problem is, again, you don't get the benefit of the doubt because of your previous actions were the exact same thing. Like Ja Morant is trying to grasp and trying to do everything. Just be a man. You want to act hard. You want to act like you a gangster. You want to act like you this man. Then buckle up and be a man and take your spanking like a man. You made a conscious effort to do this and live your life this way and to act a fool. And now you are getting in trouble for your actions and your behaviors. And now you're trying to get out of it by what? Saying it's a toy. Like, that's the stupidest defense I could hear. Because again, I've seen so many people talk about, well, he didn't do anything illegal. He didn't do it. That's not the point. There's lots of things that aren't illegal, but if you did it at your workplace or you did it outside of your workplace, you would be fired. People are fired over social media posts all the time. People that work at like McDonald's are fired over social media because when you are for a company, you're under contract, you're doing that, you are a representation of that company. Ja Morant is one of the faces of the NBA. He is making hundreds of millions of dollars playing for the NBA. An organization is funding and investing into this young man in order to reach, financial success, league success, all of that, right? That's the goal. There is a lot of time, energy, money, and investment put into these NBA players. They are a representation. They are aware. They all sign the same contracts. They all have to represent the exact same way. It's not like Ja Morant is being specifically targeted for a reason. It's not like he signed a different contract than anyone else. No, he's operating under the same guidelines, regulations, and rules as every other player in the NBA, as every person who has a job, period. Period. You know, like, people get fired over jobs for getting a DUI. Like, again, your representation. It's not that you did something illegal. It's the NBA has the right to say, we don't want your services anymore. It is a privilege to play in the NBA. It is a privilege to earn a paycheck from the NBA. There is no obligation to give you that paycheck or have you in the NBA. If you don't want to follow the guidelines, you have every right to do so. If Ja Morant wants to join a gang and run around and act like he's, a thug, like, sure, go ahead. He has that right. If he wants to leave the NBA and he just wants to be on IG 24/7 shooting bullets in the air, he has that right. He can do that. Go ahead. Go ahead. There's also a difference between brandishing a gun and having a gun holstered, right? Like, most states, like, yes, you can open carry, but you can't just be waving the gun around. Like, that's not legal, right? There's a big difference between those two things that I think a lot of people miss, right? But even if you can't, let's say you can't, right? It's not about whether he broke the law or not. It's about him following the rules and guidelines of an organization, and he failed to do so for the several time now, right? Like, this isn't like this is the first occurrence where it's like, okay, well, and Adam Silver said that they have already found other things, other evidence, that they have accumulated other things beyond what Ja Morant is in trouble for right now. And all of that will be public and made once the NBA Finals is over. My point is Ja Morant knew. He is an adult. He's not some 11-year-old kid. He is a grown man. He is an adult that knew the consequences, already got in trouble for the same thing, and then still chose to make those decisions. Be a man, accept your punishment, stop punching little kids, stop acting like a gangster on social media. If you want to do that where nobody can see it, fine. But here's the problem. Now everybody knows about it. So you do that stuff in public, guess what's happening? Everyone's going to have their phones out. Everybody's going to be recording you. You're going to get tempted. I mean, even Stephen A said, like, I've talked to people around the league and they're worried that he might not even be alive in 5 years because he's playing a dangerous game. He's not playing a game that many people make it out of. He's not even about that life. The dude didn't grow up in the hood. The guy doesn't know anything about the struggle. This dude is 8 Mile. His real name is Clarence, and Clarence's parents have a real good marriage. Like, that's him. This is Clarence. Like, it's ridiculous. Like, the guy is not some hardcore, like, grew up in the struggle, was running around having to, steal for food. Like, no. You lived a quiet, peaceful, suburban life, and now you're doing that again, and you're just trying to act tough for what? For what? For what? Like, what is the point? You're going to throw your career away. There are millions of people working their tails off every single day of their life. And there's that guy in, what is it, like, Zimbabwe or something like that? Like, the guy, like, he's gone viral, who built, like, baskets out of, like, literal basket stuff and is doing straight trading and all this stuff out of all this, like, made stuff in some little tiny poor village. He's doing everything he can to try to get to the league. And you have a guy like Ja Morant who's privileged enough to just be able to fuck that off, right? Like, that must be nice. It must be nice that you have that luxury where you could say, it's all right. I've already made several hundreds of millions of dollars. I can just go do what you want. But you look at guys like Giannis, who grew up in these small villages, or this guy, like I said, that is out here trying to do everything he can to get in the league. Those guys would do, like, that guy would do anything to be in the position Ja Morant is in right now, to be able to feed his family. That struggle That dude's living in some little village, wondering where his next meal's coming from, wondering how he's going to survive. Is his family going to die of starvation or disease or whatever? And Ja Morant living in a mansion, mommy and daddy take care of everything. I can run around with my friends. I just got to play basketball on the weekends. Like, this dude is that privileged that he can just try to destroy and ruin everything that he's worked hard for, when you have people that would give anything and die for that, to be able to give their family that security and be in that privileged state. And you have guys like Ja Morant, who is just an idiot. He's just making dumb decisions, man. And he's playing a dangerous game. I really do hope the kid turns it around. I really do. Like, I don't want to see people like this. I don't want to see people throwing away their lives and their careers and stuff like that to do what? Like, it's silly to me. He made it. He won. You have nothing to prove. You won. So go home, Clarence. Like, stop trying to act the fool. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion. So I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you make of this? What do you think? Love to hear it. Let me know.